Hey, it's Dan Morales. It's Homebuyer Radio. This is episode number 156. Unbelievable that we've done 156 episodes of this podcast, but remarkably, I keep coming up with new content because of the experiences I get to deal with day in and day out. So some of you, our listeners, are maybe some of the sources of this content. So I've had really bad humor lately. I think it's because here in Michigan we've been quarantined for far too long. But hey, real quick, I want to talk about cash reserves. We talked about this a little bit last week. I mentioned this is probably an episode that's worth doing, and I do think it's an episode that's worth doing. So what are cash reserves and why do they matter to you as somebody's looking to take out a mortgage? Okay, what cash reserves are is they are funds that you have left after you've made your down payment and you've covered, let's say, your closing cost. So let's just say you bought a $200,000 house and you had a 5% down payment. That 5% down payment is $10,000, and let's say between closing cost and escrows, you had another $5,000 in cost and escrows. So in total, you would need, let's say, your $10,000 down payment plus the $5,000 to cover closing costs and escrows. So you needed $15,000 in total for the purchase of your house. Okay, let's say you had $20,000 cash in the bank that we were able to verify. So you had $20,000 minus the $15,000 that you needed to get the deal done, which means you had $5,000 in cash reserves. Okay, now those $5,000 of cash reserves, let's just say that your monthly payment with taxes and insurance is $1,500. Well, if you take that $5,000 divided by $1,500, you have 3 months worth of cash reserves, meaning that you have 3 mortgage payments that you could make based on the money that you had left in the bank after you've closed on your home purchase. Okay, so cash reserves are really important because what it shows a lender is that you have some money to fall back on should you find yourself in a position where you had a disruption in income or something to that effect. It gives you the ability to make a mortgage payment for a certain period of time if you found yourself in that position. Now, interestingly enough, for some folks, your rainy day fund or your ability to weather a storm might be, being able to go through and, potentially borrow against a 401k or a retirement fund or some other kind of market-driven asset. Now, one of the things that Fannie Mae just recently did within the course of the last couple of weeks is they tightened their scorecard for loan approval. And that scorecard is no longer taking those kind of market valued assets into consideration like it used to. It used to be that you could count a percentage of those assets as part of a borrower's cash reserves, which, cash reserves sometimes can be what gets a loan to go through the automated scorecard versus not going through that scorecard. So those cash reserves can be, a really important aspect to being able to get a loan approval. Well, in cases where you don't have those cash reserves, you could find yourself not getting approved where previously you may have been able to get approved. So, lenders are really looking at that whole picture. They're going to look at what kind of down payment is there, what's your overall credit score, what's your debt to income ratio, and do you have cash reserves, right? If you're a loan with a smaller down payment, do you have some money to fall back on in the case where there's a market downturn or you have some kind of disruption in income? Do you have something to fall back on where you can make payments, or did you rub your last 2 nickels together to get across the finish line to close on your new house? So cash reserves are going to be really important. I always tell people save as much money as you can between now and the time that you close on your house. The more money you have in the bank, the better it is for us to be able to get your loan approved. Even if you don't need those dollars to be able to get your final approval, it just helps to be able to show the most amount of money that I can, because that in today's world may make a difference between you being able to get approved and not getting approved for a mortgage. Okay. Hey, I'm Dan Morales, America's Mortgage Man. My NMLS number is 709729. Phone number is 616-931-4629. You can find me online at danmorales.com. That's DANMORALEZ.com. And of course, North Point Bank is an equal housing lender. Have a great day. See ya.